Welcome back to Expat on Two Wheels, and on July 6th, I got to go to the Taiwan International Motorcycle Show located in Taipei. There we saw lots of gear and accessory manufacturers, both local and international. We saw big bike makers like Suzuki, Honda, Royal Enfield, Yamaha bringing their bikes out. People could test ride them, and we got to do some of that. We also got to see some really cool custom bikes. So I'm going to give you a walk around of some of those custom bikes that I think are really cool, some of the highlights of the show. Then I'm going to show you a test ride of the Royal Enfield 650 Classic. But first, let's roll the highlights. Big news from Honda is the E-Clutch system that they debuted on the CB650R and the CBR650R, and there was a lot of hype around that. They were offering test rides on Saturday, but they closed out on Sunday, unfortunately, and that is something that I was looking forward to riding. But the E-Clutch is just a system that you can use the clutch manually if you choose to, but the computer will do it for you if you don't want to. Helps you with those upshifts and downshifts so you don't even have to pull the clutch in, and you can just take off from the start just like you would with a scooter. I really liked the custom bikes that they brought out, and all of them were customized right here in Taipei, and we have some really cool bike builders. My favorite was the Yamaha Tenere dirt tracker. So I had 19-inch front and rear wheels. So I really like this flat tracker style bike. It's a custom bike by Rough Crafts, it looks like. Tenere 700 engine with a YZ subframe, but a Tenere frame. High-end Olin suspension, Behringer brakes, full custom with a custom tank. It's very, very nice. Here we have a chopper style. It looks like a push rod motor. Very, very custom looking design with saddle and exhausts and everything. Here we have a Ducati Monster with a lot of custom parts on it. It has really trick looking radiator hoses. Dry clutch, it looks like, with really nice looking exhaust. Here we have a Triumph Speed Triple 1200. The tank and rear fender look like they have a little bit of custom work done on them, and it has a beautiful titanium exhaust. Here we have a Sportster with a lot of custom work on it, and with dirt tires, dirt tracker style tires. Another Harley dirt tracker style bike with a nice custom high exhaust and custom tank. It looks very nice. This is a Aprilia with a lot of custom parts on it from Rough Crafts, the company that makes a lot of the stuff around here, I guess in Taipei. And this looks like it has a nice carbon fiber weave to it and a really cool looking front headlight. This was the first year that Suzuki brought the DRZ-4S in, and there's a lot of hype around that. A lot of people wanted to sit on it, and I got to sit on it as well. And to be honest, it felt really similar to a DRZ-400, and you can't really tell a lot from sitting on something in a show. So I look forward to riding that in the future, hopefully, but I also made a video about that. Royal Enfield came out in an official capacity to Taiwan, and at the show, it was a big moment for them to debut some of their bikes. The 350 Classic and the 650 Classic, they had them to show in different trim levels, and then they had two bikes out there for people to ride. So I'm getting to ride this Royal Enfield 650. It's a twin cylinder, 47 horsepower. Beautiful bike.
You guys are off run?
Yeah.
And start. Okay.
Start.
And the
Okay.
turn signal here.
Yes.
Okay. And then low pin, high pin.
Yes.
Classic.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Please follow the yellow jacket.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's in gear. It has a gear indicator, which is interesting. Now we're off rolling. It's quite a heavy bike. The back brake feels a bit agricultural, but it's a disc. It's got discs, beautiful exhaust, nice headlight. Clutch pull is quite soft, you know, easy to pull. It is a lot taller than I expected. I can flat foot it, like if I really sort of stretch, but it's quite wide. And the pegs are quite wide apart, but of course I'm used to a dirt bike, so. The exhausts have one continuous line from the inlet all the way to the outlet, hiding any twists and turns that they have to do for emissions, and that's a really nice touch in the design department. Now, the engine does sound a little bit agricultural. It's a bit thump, 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 but it's smoother than I expected. And I really couldn't tell anything about the power. You know, 47 horsepower isn't a lot. It's moving 243 plus kilograms, so it's really not a light bike at all. But the thing is, the traffic was really heavy on that ride, and so I barely got into second gear, and so I really didn't have any time to open it up or know how fast it was or anything of that nature. So the seating position is really comfortable with quite wide bars. So I just started off in second there, and chugged a little bit, but you wouldn't know it. You really wouldn't know that I just started off in second gear. While it's not a nimble or agile bike at all, it is easy to balance and it is very easy to ride. One thing that I didn't like was how much the rear brake squealed. So when I first applied that rear brake, I actually stopped and I had a look to see if it was a drum brake. I thought it was a drum brake. The engagement was pretty harsh, pretty on-off compared to other disc brakes that I'm used to, and so that was one of the downsides of the bike. But everything else worked really, really well. If the price is competitive in Taiwan, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this bike. Now, you are dealing with a vintage bike. You're riding a vintage bike with some really cool updates. They've done a good job bringing it into the modern world. You know, as I said, the fit and finish is quite nice. It rides really nice. However, you're not buying a naked bike that's disguised as a vintage bike. You're buying a vintage bike that has had some small improvements to bring it into the 21st century and keep it relevant. So if that's what you're okay with, that's what you're getting, then I give it the thumbs up. Now, I also got to ride the MT-09 YAMT semi-automatic transmission, and I'm going to make its own video about that because I think that's some really cool technology. If you are interested in that and you want to see more of this kind of content, like, comment, and subscribe, and join us again next time on Expat on Two Wheels. That is an incredible bike. That's unreal.